2,500 rupees. Well, that's what Nina paid her domestic help in Mumbai from her phone, sitting in Singapore. You know, UPI, 2 seconds, done. That's a FEMA violation. So is that 5,000 rupees she sent mum last month and the 800 rupees current bill that she paid in March. All these made from her savings account, which she never converted after she moved abroad. Now these amounts are small, but the problem they're building up to, that's not. Here's the thing about moving abroad, right? You know, we update everything. Address, wardrobe, supermarket, social circle, everything moves, everything but your Indian financial life. Now that one is sitting exactly how you left it. Same savings account, same UPI, same PPF, frozen in the year you packed your bags and left. And here's the part that nobody tells you at the immigration counter when they stamp your passport. The law didn't freeze with it. Today, we'll discuss compliance rules in 5 stages. First, what happened the day when your status changed? The real problem with UPI for NRIs, what you can no longer use, what to do and in what order, and what to do if you're not doing it the right way. Now, if you've been an NRI for 1, 3 or 5 years and you're still using that old savings account UPI to pay bills back home, this video is for you. First up, the day your status changed. So here's how FEMA works, right? The moment you spend fewer than 182 days in India in a financial year, remember that, financial year, you qualify as an NRI. It's not when you apply for it, or it's not when your bank updates you. It's the moment the days cross this threshold and the law changes. And from that moment, you are legally required to convert your resident savings account into an NRO account. Not eventually when you feel like it. Immediately. What that means practically is that every credit and debit on a resident savings account after that point is technically one FEMA violation. Now, that salary that came in, that UPI transaction for building maintenance, that rent from that one tenant, each and every one. Now, the penalty under Section 13 of FEMA is up to 3 times the amount involved. Now, don't do reverse rupee calculation in your foreign currency wondering how much that is. I know us, we all think the same. Anyway, don't panic. The fix is not complicated, but it does actually require you to start, which, as anybody managing a life across 2 countries knows, is the hardest part. First up, the UPI problem. Now, UPI is where most NRIs quietly go wrong because it just feels so harmless. I know, splitting a dinner bill with cousins, paying that society maintenance, sending your parents a little extra every month. I mean, there's almost something comforting about that payment confirmation, isn't it? You know, 2 seconds and it feels like you've never left. The problem legally is precisely that it feels like you never left. The rule is simple. NRIs cannot use UPI linked to a resident Indian savings account. Now, that account should not exist in that form anymore. So what can NRIs legally do? You can use a UPI linked to an NRI account. You can use UPI linked to an NRO account. You can use an NRI-enabled UPI with an international mobile number. Now, NPCI and RBI both allow NRIs from over 12 countries. You know, we are talking about UAE, US, UK, Singapore, Canada, and Australia to register for UPI with their foreign number. So no Indian SIM needed, one lesser headache there. And here's why it matters beyond just the rule. UPI transactions are visible to the Income Tax Department through the Annual Information Statement. You know, that's the AIS. Now, if your AIS is consistently showing UPI activity from a resident account while your passport is showing that you're chilling in Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai for 3 years, that's a compliance red flag that can trigger a scrutiny assessment. And you don't want that letter from them. So, what's the fix? Just convert that resident account to an NRO first. Re-enable UPI on that new account. And most banks are really now allowing you to fully do this through a video KYC. So, no excuse. But that brings us to what you can no longer use. Now, becoming an NRI doesn't just change your bank account. It changes what financial products you can hold. 3 important ones. PPF. You cannot open a new PPF account as an NRI. If you had one before leaving, contributions continue until the original maturity date. But hey, no extensions on this one. And here's the update that's caught many people off guard. Now, even irregularly extended PPF accounts have stopped earning interest since October 2024. If yours is sitting in an extended account, it is not compounding. It's just sitting there. And when it matures, close it and just move on with your life. 2. Sovereign gold bonds, SGBs. Now, NRIs were never permitted to buy new SGBs. FEMA restrictions. But Budget 2025 discontinued the scheme entirely, so no new SGBs for anyone out here. Finally, derivative trading. Now, equity and index F&O is still permitted for NRIs on NSE and BSE, but only through, correct, NRO account. And the profits are subject to a $1 million annual repatriation limit that applies to all NRO funds. What is completely off the table is currency derivatives, commodity derivatives, intraday trading, and short selling. These are all restricted, and it's worth knowing this before you log into your trading account on a random Sunday morning, assuming everything works the same as before. If you've got till here, I know how this feels. It feels like it's a lot. And that instinct, completely understandable, is to think that I will properly sort this sometime soon. Look, we're at an age where we exactly know how the story ends. That's why Belong built the compliance compass. You put in your situation and it tells you what needs attention and in what order. It's not a generic checklist, it's your checklist and it's my checklist. Now the link's in the description below. You need 5 minutes and you'll know exactly where you stand before we get to the action steps. And that brings us to what you need to do in what order. Now most NRIs know they should do something. The problem is not knowing where to start. So here's the order. First up, convert your savings account to NRO. It's most urgent. Do it at your bank branch or digitally through a NRI KYC. So just have your passport copy, visa, overseas address proof, all these documents in place. Now the account number stays the same. The account type, that changes. And the Indian income now flows in legally. Step 2, open an NRI account. Now this is for your foreign earnings that you want to bring back to India. Now the interest is completely tax-free in India, and both principal and interest are fully repatriatable. Your foreign salary savings belong here. And that brings us to step 3. Please update your KYC with CAMS and KFintech. Now, these registrars, they cover most of the Indian mutual fund houses, and updating here flows through most AMCs. But please follow up with each fund house individually for a written confirmation. I mean, don't assume that it's going to cascade automatically, because assumption is really the finish the sentence. Step 4, convert your demat account. Now, please contact your depository participant and request conversion to NRO demat. Now, existing shares, those don't need to be sold under FEMA Section 6.5. And shares acquired as a resident can continue to be held on a non-repatriatable basis. Now, for fresh investments that you're doing with repatriatable gains, you'll need a PIS-enabled NRI account. PIS is a portfolio investment scheme, and that's the right structure for everything going forward. And step 5, we come back to UPI. Now you can enable UPI on your NRE or NRO account. Now, once you've converted, set up UPI on the new account. Now, international mobile number also works if you're in one of those NPCI supported countries I mentioned a while back. And step 6, returns. File ITR as an NRI. Now, ITR 2 is for interest or rental income. ITR 3 is for business or professional income. Now, if you have DTAA benefits to claim, submit 10F, Form 10F, and your tax residency certificate before your filing deadline. But what if you've already been doing it wrong? Now, many of us, well, you've been NRIs for a few years and you're still entirely depending on that old savings account. Well, going about life like nothing dramatic has happened. Well, don't panic, but don't wait either. Now, FEMA and Income Tax Department respond better to voluntary disclosure than being caught. Now, the AIS now pulls data automatically from banks, mutual funds, registrars, and UPI platforms. Those transactions, they're already in the system, my friend. The question is whether you address it first or wait for them to. The right move, convert the accounts. Update your KYC everywhere, and if needed, please file revised returns for all the open assessment years with a CA who specifically handles NRI taxation. Don't get a generalist. Go to someone for whom this is core everyday work. And if you're unsure if you have crossed the NRI threshold in the past year, the test is really simple. Count the days you were in India in that year, under 182, and you are an NRI. If you stayed longer due to COVID or a family situation, you may have been a resident for one or more of those years. Your returns for that period may still need to reflect it. It's a small detail, but it can have a significant consequence. Well, remember our friend Nina? Well, she sorted it out. It took 4 months. It took a good CA. There were lots of revised returns for 2 years, and there was considerably more stress than those UPI transactions, but she got there. The accounts were converted, the KYC was updated, UPI was running through NRO, and the AIS clean. Her annual maintenance now is checking the AIS once a quarter, making sure FD renewals ran in the right account, and that takes about 2 hours a year. 2 hours a year versus 4 months of remediation. Look, we're mature enough. We've all earned that right to not create unnecessary problems for ourselves at this point in our lives. Now, if you've been putting this off, today's a good day to start. And one thing, open your Indian bank account right now and check whether your account says resident or NRO NRI. If it says resident and you've been abroad for more than 6 months, that's your starting point. Everything else follows. Now, Belong's compliance compass that I was talking a moment back is in the description below. It walks you through exactly what needs fixing based on your situation. There's also CA assisted NRI tax filing that's also on the platform, and that starts at 2,000 rupees. And if any of this helped, send it to one friend who is an NRI in your network who's still using their old savings account UPI. They'll thank you at some point. And once they're done being annoyed at themselves for not sorting it out earlier. On that note, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you back soon.